What's up, kiddos? Mr. Apolategi here. Today, I'm going to show you how to write an introduction paragraph for an argumentative essay. So pay close attention. Or don't, because then you can just rewind it, right? That's the benefit of this. But really, I hope this does help, and it'll help you with writing your introduction paragraph for your argumentative essay. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so the first element of our introduction paragraph for argumentative essay is going to be a fascinating grabber. This can be a quote, creative hook, definition, interesting question, or personal experience. Now, a good example of a hook is at the beginning of the Infinity War. Remember how we first meet Thanos? Well, that is a major attention grabber because right off the bat, it starts with action. Let's take a look at it real quick.
I know what it's like to lose. Feel so desperately that you're right. Yet to fail, nonetheless. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
Okay, you gotta admit, that immediately grabs your attention. It makes you want to watch more. Who is this character? What does he want? Right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at an example that I created for an introduction. So here, I have made an interesting hook. I wrote, imagine you are no longer allowed to attend school. So instead, you have to stay home and learn from a machine. Schools are gone, and you can no longer make friends because everyone else is learning at home from a machine. So you see, this is an attention grabber because it's setting out something that would make you really want to think or say, what's this person actually talking about? I want to know more. It's kind of similar to when Thanos beats up the Hulk.
We have a Hulk.
Quite the attention grabber, right? Okay, let's continue looking at the other parts of the introduction paragraph. Now that we've set up our attention grabber or fascinating grabber, we're going to do the background information. The reader needs to know in order to understand our opinion. So let's take a look. So I return to my graphic organizer, and here it wants me to put in the background. So here, what I did is just return to the PowerPoint, came back, and went ahead and put it into my graphic organizer. So I wrote, in the short story, The Fun They Had, and the essay, The New Teachers, by Isaac Asimov, people don't teach, machines do. Students work in isolation and their progress is monitored closely through frequent computerized assessment. The next thing we're going to want to do is present a counterclaim. Although many people believe blank, I disagree because, so here we're just going to fill in the blanks. In the graphic organizer, I went ahead and took what was already scripted, the outline, but I filled in the blanks. This is what I wrote. Although many people believe there are benefits from learning from a machine because it can measure your learning, I disagree because students are learning in isolation, and this is bad because humans are social beings. So notice with the counterclaim, what I did was take something that could be true, the opposite side of my argument, right, of what I'm trying to prove. I took it and I put it in the counterclaim, but then I used it only to prove it wrong. So counterclaims are that powerful because they make you that much more right. The thesis statement is so essential. and I'll explain a little more in a second. But basically what I have here is an outline. What you want to say and start off with is obviously a computer-based education is, and I want you to go ahead and either put better or worse, whatever you agree with, and then you're going to finish writing then a regular education as evidenced by, and then you're going to put your 2 reasons. Now, obviously, what I did was I went ahead and put in an opinion that said that machines teaching would be bad. So I would have to put in for worse. Let's take a look at that. So for my thesis, I went ahead and took the outline and filled in the blanks. Obviously, a computer-based education is worse than a regular education as evidenced by students having to learn in isolation and robot teachers breaking and not being able to teach correctly. The reason why the thesis is so essential is because it is the core of our argument. It is the main claim we're trying to prove right. That is why it is the most important part of our paper, because our whole paper revolves around that one statement. Notice how, again, the parts 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are color-coded. So when I put them together, I have my first introduction argumentative paragraph. Take a look. Imagine you are no longer allowed to attend school, so instead you have to stay home and learn from a machine. Schools are gone and you can no longer make friends because everyone else is learning at home from a machine. In the short story, The Fun They Had, and the essay, The New Teachers, by Isaac Asimov, people don't teach, machines do. Students work in isolation, and their progress is monitored closely through a frequent computerized assessment. Although many people believe there are benefits from learning from a machine because it can measure your learning, I disagree because students are learning in isolation, and this is bad because humans are social beings. Obviously, a computer-based education is worse than a regular education as evidenced by students having to learn in isolation and robot teachers breaking and not being able to teach correctly. Congratulations. Now you're done. You completed your whole introduction paragraph, right? So what you included was the fascinating grabber, right? The background information. You presented a counterclaim so that you can make your argument, your thesis stronger, and then you put in your thesis, what you're going to argue in the whole paper, and you gave 2 pieces of evidence, 2 reasons why your thesis is correct. Congratulations, you are now done. Go ahead and snap that finger.
You